So, how you been? How you doing?
I am doing incredible. This week has been a whirlwind of all kind of goodies. So I am so grateful to be able to share all this with you. So I'm ready.
That's good. So, how'd you come up with the concept of don't
Master
say you
your
didn't do it. I saw you do it. How'd you come up with the concept of Master Your
master.
Recovery Virtual Summit series?
All right. So that was Erica's idea. You guys, I promise. Our campaign, right? That we're because next month we're gonna launch Lux Maverick, right? So the campaign that we are running is Master Your Recovery. So Erica was like, "Oh, that sounds like a good title for a summit." And I was like, "Okay." So and she's like, "We should do a summit." And I was like, "Okay, well, let's document it if we're gonna do it so that people can see what it takes to create a summit, what your summit should be all about, as far as like the different elements, right, that go into creating a summit so that it's interesting, how to make it cohesive, and then let Erica go crazy on all the different things that she knows how to do that makes having, doing a summit worth it. A lot of times people think that ticket sales are what is like the most important part of a summit, when actually I don't think so. I think that you're creating awareness, especially for what we're doing. We're actually creating a different conversation around a specific topic. So it's not just about the event itself. It's like we are actually in disrupting. Everybody's always talking about being industry disruptive, right? So the idea and the concept behind what Lux Maverick is imbued into the whole idea behind, or idea of creating the summits, right? So the summit is not about Lux Maverick at all, really. And it's more of an opportunity for people to hear what I have to say, what other people in I would say adjoining, would you call it adjoining types of services have to say about the subject of recovery. I guess we should talk. So just so everybody's kind of on the same page and we talk about the same context. We're talking about in a post-traumatic situation where a person has been injured and they've gone through the medical gauntlet, right? And they have been told that all of their medical options are now complete. So the doctor is like, there's nothing else that we could do for you. We've fixed, if you broke your leg, we fixed the bone, we reset it, we've given you everything. The only thing that you really can do now is deal with the ramifications. And that's always the thing, no matter what you do, right, Erica? You have to live with the ramifications of your actions. So, all right, fine. Right, that's true. So, and we know this. And so, if you break your leg and the pain is still lingering, what can you do to help recover deeper, right? So surgery is the first step. Therapy, like physical therapy, is like your second step. And depending on what your injury is, you can have different types of therapy. You can have speech therapy or occupational therapy, all kinds of stuff like that, right? So that's just how it goes. So, but once you get to a place where the overall healing, I would say the most of the healing, say like, I don't know, maybe 40-50% of the healing has occurred, but you still have like scar tissue issues, restrictive issues, um, phantom pain situations. So what do you do? And so there are things that you can do, because elite athletes and the elite around the world have been using these therapies. And a lot of times people have to, in America, a lot of times people have to go out of the country to get access to it. But now with the AMA and the American Medical Association and
They ask me anything?
no, that's what I'm saying. It's AMA is the American Medical Association. And then the WHO, everybody knows who that is, the World Health Organization. They have been doing a lot of work around post-traumatic pain over the last few years. So in March, I believe, of 2021, we'll add that link later, and so you can go look at the report yourself. But they they identified chronic pain as anything that is 3 months or more of pain, and how integrative therapies are really useful in that and after that point, because medically speaking, or allegoric medically speaking, right? So that's traditional medicine, as we would call it here in the States.
So you wanted to host this event because you're passionate about it, and you actually don't have to wait 3 months to do something about it. You want to let people know that they could do something about it, like right now.
Well, yes. I mean, it's my specialty is going to be in that like that post situation. But most of the things that we're talking about, like there's like acupuncture, there's massage, there's chiropractic care, all those things that you can do kind of much sooner. You don't have to wait. For me, I can do things sooner, but I generally try to give a person's body the time that it needs, so that we know what are going to be the lingering things. And that's what I specialize in. I specialize in lingering, in like disruptive type problems.
All right. So when you said this isn't for ticket sales, I wanted to be clear that for people out there, you do not make your money from ticket sales when you host an event. You make your money from your upsells. But in all summits aren't always about money. Some summits are about lead generation. Some summits are about getting your name out there, or being associated with your speakers, or having your speakers be associated with you. So,
Mm-hmm.
so
Absolutely.
how did you pick your speakers? Because you had some really good speakers.
We know Elle knows a lot of people. So I really just started talking to people and asking people based on what I knew of their specialties. I've been in this space for at least 14 years full time, and several years prior to that. So really understanding that there are things that you can do for chronic conditions, or just even conditions that like we talked about before, like autism, having, giving or focusing on the diet of the child can help relieve some of the symptoms, all those kinds of things. I don't know. I don't know what adults who have autism, what they are doing. That's something that would be interesting to find out.
Supposedly, it's different for everyone. Seeing people with autism is like seeing someone with brown hair. So,
Yes. Exactly. Well, that's everything with that, and that is really something that we really, really focus on, because everybody's body's different. Your full body is as different as your fingerprint. So two people can have similar symptoms, but they're completely different um, reactions, causations, collateral damage, all kinds of stuff like that. So it's really significant to understand that.
okay.
Yeah, it's important.
So, What I've told you before, and what I want everyone else to know that they can do it too, is that I don't think you do any speaker wrangling. If you ask someone to show up, you expect them to show up. If they don't show up, you move on and you do it quickly. I think the most you waited was maybe like 2 days, maybe three, but you didn't wait long. You got this done. Y'all, she got this summit set up within a week. That's how good at time management Elle is.
Well, thank you, but I wasn't by myself. Sister Bates over here was really a big part of that. She knows her tools really well. Excuse me. Sorry, gosh. She knows her tools really well, and she's a product officer. She's like, we need this, 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 and this, and I'm like, okay, I'll have it by tomorrow. You know, because I feel like, if you're working with somebody and they can be clear about what they need, then you can be clear about when you can get it to them. And you need to focus on doing that because you're only going to delay it for a dumb reason, right? So something happens and you could have, if I would have did it last night, it would have been done, and then I can deal with this other thing and it won't delay us. So I don't like unnecessary delays. So getting it done is important.
What I like about you is that you do get it done within a day, within 30 minutes sometimes, because you have no idea what procrastination is. And she also knows her tools very well. Um, how was it working with someone else on an event? Because you've hosted events before. All your events are very elegant, lavish. I've been to her in-person events. That's why I'm saying this, because it's nice. So, how was it working with someone else on something that you usually do?
I think it was awesome. I mean, I really I learned a lot, right? So there's a lot of things that for like if I have to do one, but you guys, I will never do an hope like produce another event. I'm so sorry for y'all. Erica will always be the person that I'm sorry, y'all. My dog is going crazy. She's done lost her mind. She thinks that she has to have my food. I'm like, really?
It's only
Anyway,
because you got the good food.
no, I don't have good food. She's just greedy. I'm so sorry. I know this is live and I'm sorry, but I'm just trying to let y'all hear us. Okay, so I feel like, I can when it was COVID, so let me stop. Okay, so when it was COVID, right? So we couldn't do anything else, right? So we did a lot of virtual events and different things like that. We added a whole division to our I don't know if some people know I have a media company, so we added a whole division to that. We do a lot of different stuff, and I really love doing them. But I feel like working with Erica made it so much more controlled. It was she's like she has her processes and her plans, and you just plug and play, and based on what the goal of the event is, how many people you want to have, are you going to do speaker gifts, are you going to do uh, just all the different little there's like so many nuances that you can do right for an event, and and when you're going to have it, and there's a lot that goes into it. So it's not a we were able to do this because we both have skills that like complement each other well, and we understood what the mission was and we knew what we were going to do, and it was no kind of nebulous conversation. Erica's like, okay, so if you're going to do it, this is what it's going to take. I'm like, okay, so I'm up for the challenge. Let's handle it. So we did that. So I would never suggest that somebody do a summit in a week. I would not suggest that because there's a lot of things that you can miss if you really don't understand what's happening. So, but when you are ready for for something like this, and um, it was just kind of it was awesome. Like it made me step my game up. It made me kind of look at I was able to look at the full spectrum externally and internally, right? So it wasn't one dimensional like it can be when you're just doing it by yourself. So I thought it was special.
So it was like concept, uh goal setting was set. Came up with a concept, ran with it, came up with a goal, um, set up platforms, called speakers, have speakers flake on you, got some more speakers, got everything set up, repurposed it. It's like wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
we had this event. It was 3 4 hours long. Elle had the bright idea of doing a recap, and that's gonna be with us later on today. She'll put that out, and I thought that was genius because I love repurposing content, and she put that out within a day of the event. That
Because
that
we
is
knew.
literally amazing.
Well, but you see, we knew, right? We knew what we were gonna do, right? We had the plan. We knew what we were gonna do. We just got it done. And to me, that was great because I got my part of it done, and then I sent it to Erica, right? Then Erica just like sent it out to the world. I mean, there's that thing is on replay. It is. We have gotten so much awesome feedback from people. I didn't know that this was possible. The speakers were great. We are the one tomorrow. Oh my gosh, y'all, we have another one tomorrow.
Yeah,
The
five
one
more to
tomorrow.
go.
Yeah, tomorrow is the second session. So we have Annette Carter and Tom. What's his last name? I don't want to mess up his last name.
Ballard, Thomas
Right. Okay. I
Ballard.
just wanted to make sure. I was like, I think it's Ballard, but yeah. So I didn't want to mess it up. So anyway, so we're going to talk about the elemental nature of healing. So that is going to be incredible. But the goal, like Erica's like, okay, so what do you want each day's theme to be? I'm like, I don't know. Let's figure out who we're going to get to speak, and then we'll figure out how all of it'll make sense for us, right? How it fits, because I don't think that you always have to know ahead of time. I mean, you need to know ahead of before the day of the event, but you don't always have to know the full details when you start your summit, especially if it's in a multi-day situation like we're doing. And it's I think the fact that we're like healing is the whole point of the summit, and how to heal and all that is pretty is close to, I guess, a theme, a continuous theme throughout the event. What do you
Yeah,
think?
I like that. And it is a part of the theme that we had already set.
Right, but I'm saying like that was the one that, I mean, of all the things that we have planned and all the conversations that we have been thinking about having, I think that the consistent thread throughout everything, because you would think like, okay, you're talking about water, for example. Well, water really, how who would think that water and healing really had anything to do with each other? But it does, and it's really critical, and that's why I wanted to present these conversations this way instead of just saying you have to drink your water. Everybody knows that, but the thing is why, and what should you look for, and why is it important to have clean water, or is it just a tree hugger conspiracy? Right. so
I'm
so that's
actually so very excited to talk to Thomas Ballard, the groundwater guy, about water. Um, how does dehydration affect your healing process? Why does water have to have minerals in it to help you feel better? What happens
Mhm.
if my water doesn't have any minerals?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. Exactly. And it's really important to get the perspective. Even if you don't fully grasp it at the time, having access to it to go back to it, is huge. So that's why we offer to let. That's why you have to buy a ticket, right? Because we have to produce the content so that you can have this information for eternity, like, so as long as you have access to it, right? So you'll be able to, and that's kind of the things that you have to decide, right, when you're doing your event. Like what are you charging for? Like what are your attendees going to take away with them? Is it just a good time? Well, we are having a good time, but that's not the focus of this event, right? The focus of this event is education on a topic that affects everyone. So, having the videos to refer back to, um, I'm sure Erica's gonna say that she wants to do transcripts too, y'all. I'm about to like, it just came to my mind that I know that that is gonna be a part of a conversation. I just felt it in my
Well,
spirit.
every video should have some transcripts because you
Oh,
never know
see,
when you want to repurpose it.
did not see. I knew it. I knew it was coming. See, she like to drip feed you stuff. She like to drip feed you stuff. Yeah, she don't try to tell you everything up front. I just felt that real strong. I was like, oh, okay. Anyway, so
Well, when you have an event like this, we got five more to go, and there's six in all. There's so much stuff you can do to build up the next event. It's like
mm-hmm.
how you
Yes.
I'm still amazed by how you did the recap of it and edited it in one day. There's so much stuff that we could get from that last event, and we're using AirMeet, and in AirMeet, Elle showed me that there is a pause button, and when you use the pause button, it automatically chops up your video. So you can have one continuous session, hit the pause button for each speaker, give it what we gave it 2 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and then the next session starts. Even though you have a continuous session, I'm excited, by the way, about this. I didn't know about it, so that's why I'm excited. So you automatically get three. Well, we had three speakers, so we had three different sessions, even though it was a continuous session. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. We had segments to the session.
that's what it's called.
Yes. And
And
we, because I produce TV, right? So that's something that I love using AirMeet for that kind of stuff. So it's easier in post production, right? So you're never gonna have, you should never have, I would say this, and this is probably, I probably might get dinged on this, but in my opinion, right, you should never have a video event that you don't plan to use the content again later for something else, even if it's just for commercials. So you guys are gonna start seeing like different commercials that kind of tout about the event. You'll see like reactions between attendees, the speaker, what the speaker said, what the attendee thought about it, that kind of stuff. So all that stuff is coming, and it'll be very useful for promotion for the rest of the series. It'll be useful for like later on, excuse me, when we do branding, um, when people want, like say later on when you're doing your general marketing and people want to see video of you for, you know, you have to send a what do they call those, demo, like you have to send a demo of times that you've had media, so this counts. And it's important to be aware of the different types of media, the different types of marketing strategies. So one of the ways that this kind of came by so quickly was because the Super Bowl was coming, and we decided that we're gonna uh, newsjack the Super Bowl, and we did that. So that's why the event was the Friday before the Super Bowl, and then this tomorrow is the Friday before the All Star NBA game. So we're going to newsjack that tomorrow. Um, I mean, we could have been doing, but because we did it so quickly, we didn't have like the leeway. I mean, the the lead time, so we didn't have. But then, so the next one is, oh, baseball open season, oh, the baseball season opener. So you guys are going to see a lot of conversation around that, and so we'll be doing that for the next so that's March 25th, right? So what you'll see is the content that we've already created around these first two um, sessions. We'll have a lot more marketing fodder to utilize to be able to get more people to come to that event. So each time you, especially when you do a series, so each each session should have more attention and more attention and more attention, and then you just keep going on and on. So we have all the way until the 20th of May to continue to market this. And so it's just going to be ridiculous because you have so much interaction with this same content just from the summit. So that's why you want to have a summit, and that's why we say it's more than just ticket sales. Ticket sales are great. You need to know ahead of time before you jump into the boat what it is you're trying to do, right? Because it's a lot of work. Do not fool yourself. It is a lot of work. It is because there's a lot of details that you have to really work on, and in this time of just I want to say medical crisis, right? You know, you have anything can happen. So many people are getting sick, so you can't count on any specific um, person, so per se, to be your speaker. That's why we didn't really promote like who the speakers were ahead of time, because this is virtual. You don't know how serious your speaker is taking your event, especially if you don't make them pay. So we didn't make our speakers pay for this event because we wanted to make sure that we had full control and that we didn't need to make compromises based on them getting an ROI. So that is really important whenever you do an event. You have to make sure that all participants um, have an identified ROI, they have an identified outcome, and they have an identified amount of effort that they have to put in to the event. You know, like we didn't ask our speakers to market. We did all the ads for it for them. We didn't ask our speakers to invest in any money. We got our own sponsors. Um, we also did the majority of the work, and we did all the heavy lifting, right? So when the next so of course Erica's like, you need to do it more than just this one time. This is not it. And I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, so what that means is the next series will be at a much more elevated everything. It'll have more elevated marketing because one, we already have content from this one to use for marketing. We'll already know which ads work and which ads don't work. We'll already know how to find the right people to attend. We'll already because we have a target market, and if you know, I'm assuming that the people who are watching this are interested in summits, so you know how to identify a target market because you're in business. So once you do that, but your target market might not like you. I mean, they might not be the right. You know what I mean? You have a group of people that you want to target for a specific reason, and they don't want your attention, right? They or you haven't been able to strike the right chord with them for whatever reason, right? So you have to modify. So your ads have to be right. You have to have the right wording. So take master your recovery for example. When my first kind of thought about it was don't let an injury steal your dreams. Right? That was kind of the conversation that I wanted to have, but it didn't strike the right chord. I mean, because people that we wanted to target don't have the realization yet, right? That an injury can steal your dreams. They're like, oh, that's somebody else, right? That's not going to be me. You know, that was my dad. That was that old dude. That was whoever, right? That's how they see it. But they do know that recovering after workouts, recovering after a game, all those things are extremely important. So, understanding that your conversation to your target market has to change, so you know that whenever you're going to do something like this, you have to be able to utilize that content and turn it into multiple things so that you can figure out what that conversation needs to be. We already had that down because I'm sorry, the event could have been called like don't let an injury steal your dreams. And that would not be as effective as master your recovery. So that, and you know, we did a lot of research prior to well, I did prior to me and Erica coming in and saying, let's do a summit. And I'm like, really? A summit now? Because we have a launch next month. She's like, no, you need to do the summit now. It doesn't matter. I'm like, okay.
Perfect timing.
Well, yes, it's perfect timing, but you guys, like, I'm working on 4 different projects that all take about the same amount of, I would say, skill set, energy, and effort.
Yep.
So it was like, okay, so we just have to add this to it. So that's another reason why I'm like very into, if you like, just take the time to get it done now. I my ex-husband, God rest his soul, used to always tell me that what you do now will determine what you have to do later. And it took me a long time to really accept that as reality, but it's true. It's really, really true. And so that's why Erica says I don't believe in procrastination.
If you guys have ever wondered what Superwoman and Wonder Woman would be like combined, it's Elle. Like she has no clue what procrastination is. Seriously. I'm like 4 other projects and doing an event. She when I tell you she set this up in a week, it was literally just a week. Speakers, planning for the sponsors. She did the graphics herself. She set up Air Meet herself. And I just hung out with her and like was in awe. But
Oh,
yeah.
you don't make me cry. Don't mess up my makeup.
One of the things I want to let people know is that what was it? You have the post injury report. You have Lux Maverick, and you're doing all these things to help athletes. All of these things can go together. All of these things is letting people know that there's help available, and a good way to do it is having an event and being able to have the ability to repurpose your event to let more people know that you don't have to deal with lingering pain. There's literally something you can do about it. So, yeah, you
Mhm.
don't have to miss out on contracts or game days or more glory for being on the field when you want to because you can actually do something about it. So, that's what I like that Elle's doing. Like we're chopping up videos, we're posting them every day. We have the 4 videos on loop, and we have the 3, even though it was 1, we chopped it up into 3, and that's going out separately too. There's so many things you can do when you repurpose your event to get your message out to let people know more about you and what you can do to help them.
Oh yeah, and we also did those videos. Remember those videos that we chopped up, the ones that we put on the playlist?
Yep.
We did that first. I almost
Yep.
forgot about that one. Oh
Yep.
yeah. And then yeah,
Was
so
when
then
you
what
were
we
telling people about the event that was coming up.
yes. Cause it was like we were doing like we did a videos about like get your tickets. We did videos about um what the event was about. We did a video for like when we asked a person to become a speaker because we didn't do a lot of talking about being a speaker. if you have something to say and you were identified by us as a potential option, we give you an email, call, and you say, send us some more information. So then we send it to you. So then there's a video on there that explains so that you don't have to call me back. Like, really, if you want to be a speaker, this is what we're doing. You want to be part of it, fill out the form. We'll get back to you and do an interview with you to see if you are a fit. Simple as that.
Yep. We
Okay.
made a book like a boss page for that, and set it up as an appointment, and had people fill it out. And if I had it up right now, I could show you what it looks like. Let's see. I am going to share my screen so I can show people that, because we worked on it. People should see it, other than the speakers. So
This is
I'm
all
going to
Erica's
show
idea, you
people
guys.
that this is the banner for the event. We have the event days, and Elle has a welcome video talking about what she wants from a speaker, and we have the dates of the series, and along with the what was it, the events that's going along the Sunday after we host the event. And this is what you do to apply, and it has a calendar, and she has a frequently asked questions about the event. And it's little things like that I think is amazing.
But that was Erica's idea, you guys, to come up with the book like a boss page. Don't even let her fool you. That was all on her. Because I would, because I would have been, what we didn't have was time to play with people. Either you want to be part of this or you don't, or you want to, and it's fine if you don't. Everything is not for everybody, and I'm totally fine with that. I mean, I live my life that way. So if we asked you to be part of this and you said yes, then life gets in your way, then we're like, okay, maybe next time, right? There's no, I think that a lot of times what happens is people feel like they need to be, um, I don't like the idea of begging anyone to do anything, right? So if you really want to be part of something, you're going to take the time to do it. So, most of my interactions with people is based on my relationship with them. So, I don't know if I should say this, but I don't talk to people that I really don't talk to people. Definitely not strangers and definitely not randoms, right? So that's just how that's just how I am. So the situation becomes okay, so if I've taken the time to get to know you and to know about you, then I always want to be a person that's going to support you and and share with what I feel is special about you with the world, right? So that is something that I'm always going to do. I am like a big supporter of other people. So what we found was that we just kind of talked to people and they're like, well, what could I possibly bring to this topic? I'm like, well, this is what you can bring to this topic and this is why. And they're like, oh, okay, okay. So then they're like, oh, okay, this is then I'm ready. I'm willing to do this. And I think that's awesome. And I think that you have to think outside of the box when you are producing an event of any kind, specifically a virtual summit, because people, when you are in a physical space, you have so much interaction and that energy that you have with that person and that connection in that intimate space to be able to say, okay, come on, let's do this. But when you are in a virtual space, everything is a phone call, an email, a Zoom or something, right? You're it's not the same. So it took me a long time to be able to make that shift because it was difficult because I'm used to being like, okay, so meet me at this place, we're gonna have lunch, we're gonna sit down and knock this out, figure out what we're gonna do. But you can't really do that anymore because everybody's everywhere for one, and and everything is not local, and we aren't staying in hotels and doing all that kind of stuff like we used to. And so I think like air meet was the is to me it's a really great platform. It's a little bit tech heavy, so we always have a concierge whenever we use AirMeet. Hi FedEx. Whenever we use AirMeet, just photo bombing our video. Um, Whenever we use AirMeet because of that. Even when you use Zoom, you should have a concierge, right? So that's a big deal. For I would suggest people having whenever they're going to do a summit. You know, it's a big deal to, and it's also a really nice landing place for somebody who is not as tech savvy as you'd like for them to be, but they really want to attend your event. So how can you help them? So having a concierge is a really good tip I would share.
Yeah, I like that. Um, I'm sorry. What I wanted to say is that when we put together this, we made a Hey Summit page for the landing page. I don't know, there's something in my throat, but we made a Hey Summit page for the
You want to
landing
share
page.
your screen?
Oh,
I'll talk
okay.
about it. You can get you a drink of water.
Okay. Let me bring it up. Okay. And share. And what I liked about this is what Elle's talking about concierge, and it wasn't just for Aramie. She did this when you come here. The video's already played. She's greeting you, and when you get your ticket, um, well, that should have came up. Get your ticket. I have
Might not
no
because
clue
we
why
use
that's not
Zoom. You
working.
know how it
But
does that.
oh yeah, it was doing it. But then I was just trying to hurry it up. But when you
It's
get
okay.
your ticket, you are greeted with another video from Elle welcoming you to the event. And I like that. So that was just a small step, and it was like maybe a 2-minute video. And after this video ends, it was that I'm trying to make it go to the end so you
Oh,
can see that that
it's okay.
playlist we talked about in YouTube. So all the things we did for this event, all the videos that Elle made for this event, we put it in a YouTube playlist. And when after you're greeted by Elle in this video, you see more videos about what this event's going to be about. And it's Elle talking to you, Elle being personal with you, and telling you what to expect from this event. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there that even though you're not really talking to people directly, you kind of are because you did all of this for them.
Well, I like to give people as much I like like I don't mm, I don't, even though I don't talk to a lot of people in general, the people who I do talk to and that I interact with, to me, that's everything. You just, there's nothing to me more valuable than relationships. So, taking the time to help somebody understand, like, what are you talking about? Why are you talking about that? Because, um, why even talk about it if it's not important, right? And
Yeah.
so why even, so if you're gonna put something out there, you need to give people at least an understanding of what it is and what's happening. I don't like unknowns.
Yeah. But I thought that was really great that there was like 14 videos that you did for that YouTube playlist that's also in the landing page. You did a personal video for the speakers just to reach out to them so they can get to know you, get a sense of how it is to work with you. I thought that was a nice touch.
Thanks, Erica. Well, it was, well, you know, y'all, you know, you if you tell Erica, okay, so this is something that I think we should do. She's like, okay, so we can use this tool and we can do this and we can, but y'all do not even know how many tools this girl used for this summit. It's like, what is it? Was a missing letter?
Yes.
What's that other one? Oh, we use Hey Summit. We use Book Like a Boss. We use YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter.
Perfect Recall and Vadu TV. Oh, and
Oh
One
yeah,
Stream
yeah,
Live.
yeah.
You know, I love my One Stream Live.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And so, and even and just all the different stuff. And so, we didn't stream this on Roku, Fire, Apple, and Chrome, not yet, because we're gonna do that like probably for the March one, because the March one is gonna be fire. So, so we're gonna probably stream it there, and we'll probably like, are we doing a pay per view? I think that's how it is. I think it's pay per view. But anyway, so you have to have bought your ticket to be able to go to that one, because this one is gonna be really special. And so we have a lot going on. Um, I again, we won't tell you who it is, because I don't like doing that. I think if you want to come to the summit, you shouldn't just want to come just for one specific thing. Now, maybe that's just me being naive and maybe a little mean, but if you want to come to the summit, you should come because you need to come to the summit. You shouldn't just come because you want to see some celebrity. I don't like that idea.
Is
And
you know, I attended the summit because I was helping produce, but I got to be in the audience. I got to listen to some of your speakers, and one of your speakers, Angela Pride, when she was answering questions, and she was asked, like, you were talking about team sports, you guys were talking about football, and the question was, when you put yourself first, and she's like, always, you always put yourself first. And I was like, I've never thought about that. I always thought I had to be a team player. I had to do what was best for the team. And then you came back with, there's a lot of eyes that make that team. I was
yes.
like, yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
that was brilliant. Well, I was just happy I got in that.
Well, I'm glad you got something out of it, because it was that I love talking to Angela. She is amazing, and on a lot of fronts, and um a lot of ways, I'll say. And the fact that, so now I reached out to her to be the color comp. So okay, so the way that this is another thing that you need to know, right, when you do a summit, like how you're gonna set up your speakers, like what's the flow. So the flow that we created for this particular summit, each session is made up of oh my God, y'all, we live in a swamp. I don't know. Oh, so let me just on a side, okay? So we live in a swamp, and our swamp is waking up right now. So that's why she's choking out. That's why I'm choking out, because we live in a freaking swamp. South Carolina is a swamp. And if you live in a really nice, excuse me, if you live in a really nice arid place that doesn't wake up in the freaking February, then I'm so jealous of you right now. So
South
do
Carolinians call our swamps cypress gardens because
Well, they can
cypress
call it
trees grow
whatever
in
they want
swamps.
to, girl. We live in a swamp. We live in a swamp. Okay, so the way that we set it up is we have a color. Okay, so this is L brain, right? I don't believe that you should have a conversation with anyone that doesn't have a context. Because if you don't have a context, then there's going to be a lot of space for misconception and misunderstanding. So the value of taking the time to have a color commentator, which is the person. Now, normally the color commentator is like the person who makes like the side comments and all that kind of stuff, but really the job is to keep people aware of what's happening, right? So our color commentator is our first speaker. Second speaker is our athlete. Third speaker is our expert. And so now you're having a seamless conversation with three parts. That you have a beginning, an end, and a close. So again, I suggest, right, if you're gonna have a summit, and you also need to understand that a summit is very different than a webinar, is very different than a live. Even though, so this situation seems like, feels like It's not. It's just not. You know, everything is based on, you know, like a burrito and a taco are very similar in what they are, but they are not the same, right? So it's the same thing with these digital things. So, you know, like streaming on Facebook is different than streaming on Roku. It's different than streaming even if you're on, oh my, this new one, oh, it's not new, but I think it's so sweet. Like what's the one that begins with a P, but it's like for artists, and then people can support them on there. I forgot what it's called. Oh,
Oh, I know what
sorry.
you're talking about. I can't think of the name either.
Okay, sorry, y'all. I hope y'all know what I'm talking about. But I think that it's like such an awesome thing. But when you stream on there, it's different. And so when you,
Behance.
huh?
Is it Behance? I know you said it starts with
Well,
a P, but
Behance is where you put your like your digital EPK
artwork.
and all that.
But you can
But
now stream there too. Mm.
oh, that's cool. But no, it's another one like it's like we'll put it in the comments later. But anyway, so but even if it's even on Behance, it's like everywhere that you stream is different, right? So going live is a process. It is not the service, right? So you can go live as a webinar, you can go live as a summit, you can go live, but each one of those things has a purpose that's different than the other ones, even though the elements seem similar. So that's really important to know.
That's
So,
true.
but the basics of what you're doing is you always want to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. You always want to have those things be connected. You don't want to have a summit that is now. Now you can always figure out a way to make things be connected, but you want to have, like I said in the like earlier, that our connection through all the whole summit is about health and wellness. Really, is I guess more wellness than health. But that's essentially what you want to have as a theme, and it doesn't have to be, and I think that people think theme means, oh, how it looks, how it feels, blah, blah, blah. So one of the things that we talked about in our wrap-up session was having everybody use the same backgrounds, right? It's for, I'm going to say, for I love that idea for for a different reason than Erica probably thinks, but it will make post editing so much easier if everybody had the same background.
Well, as a graphic designer, I like to be consistent. I don't know if you remember, but when we did your banner designs, I wanted them to be all the same, so it can be consistent. When someone sees that banner or that background, they're going to associate it with Master Your Recovery Virtual Summit Series and
Yes.
or Elle Kersey. And when people have the same backgrounds, they'll know who's a part of the event and who's just an audience.
Yes, that's true too. And so we're getting so and we're and oh and so by well accident on purpose, I I came up with the idea of so okay, so first thing was on our intro graphic, the last girl, she had like this beautiful orange racer uh running shirt on. And so I put our logo on the back of her shirt, and I was like, "Oh my god, we need some merch!"
It's
Especially
always
since
a good
this
idea
series
too.
is so long. So we definitely need some merch. But then the second thing, okay, so with all this that's been going on and all the different conversations that I've had, everybody wants to know, like, how can they get a service? Do we service regular people? I'm like, I don't know what a regular people is. You just, I don't know what that meant, because I seriously didn't know what they meant by regular people. Like the first conversations that started with that, do you see regular people? And I'm like, y'all just have to know L brain. I just didn't get it. I was like, what do you mean regular people? And so they meant non athletes or elites or whatever. And I'm like, well, yes, we see everybody. But the thing is the reason why we always talk about athletes and elites is because they have been and they have already been using microcurrent for a long time. And if you know me, you know what microcurrent is, and that's my specialty. If you don't know me, I am a microcurrent master. But the thing was that um, microcurrent has been used for hundreds of years, but the problem has always been that people didn't have a way to get consistent results because that goes back to everybody's body's different. So what makes what I do special is that I can figure that because I kind of start with that in mind, I developed a system that allows me to be able to help anybody recover from anything. And so I've been doing it for years, 8 years for the full time for the last. I've been using microcurrent full time for the last 14 years. But everybody, okay, so let's go back. So yes, I used to work focus on. I created a process to give people non-surgical face and body lifts. Yes, I still offer those, but only on a limited basis. And so yes, okay, fine. So that's always a question people ask. But for the last 8 years, the majority of what I was doing was helping people overcome from these types of like if you had a surgery and then they're like, okay, so there's nothing else we can do, so you have to learn how to manage the pain or deal with the pain. And then that didn't sit right with me. Of course, so I was like, I know that microcurrent can help this scar tissue. So I became like very adept at addressing scar tissue issues. And so then it became okay. So what about the different types of scar tissue? And so different types of scar tissue create different types of phenomena, but it's still scar tissue. So then it just became okay, so how can you help somebody do this or come overcome that or overcome this? So then it became very expansive, and that's how I was able to figure out how to work on the whole body and fix all different kinds of things. So we focus on athletes because they already know what microcurrent is, and it's not necessarily foreign. And that's how we got into that. And so if you think about target market, target audiences, business, blah blah blah, that those people were the ones who we targeted, and that's who we mostly talk about helping. So again, that is something that you really need to be able to do. I should have said write that down, go back and watch this thing and write that down, because that is really, really not about me, who I'm just me. That's not what I'm saying. Is you need to be able to have that type of conversation with people and know why you are doing what you're doing, and be able to funnel that whole thing into the right people, right? So that was the point I was making. Not talking about me. I don't care about me. I mean, I care about me, but you don't have to. So what I'm saying is, all this is we're not doing this just because we want to talk about Elle. We're doing this because we want you to host your own summit, right? We want you to, if you can't do it yourself, Erica can do it. Right? Don't worry about that. If you are a coach, right? So you're a coach, any kind of coach. It don't matter. You know who you want to talk to. Well, if you don't have an audience yet, you can do a summit. It's not free, so don't think that. It's not free. You got to pay for it. But you do a summit, and the summit kind of helps you to reach the people who you want to reach. It's your marketing investment. You get a lot of tools, you get a lot of content, you get a lot of information that helps you to. I hate that concept of building your authority, because I think that's really dumb. Because that's dumb. That's a dumb concept. What you want to do is you want to become a thought process, or become aware in the mind of the people who you're trying to help. Don't nobody want somebody coming in their life being their authority. Oh, that's so crazy. I don't anyway. So, but you understand what I'm saying. So now, what you have to do. So once you get to this place where if you want to send out a press release, you have a piece of content that you can send with your press release. If you want to get written up by some magazine, what content you can send to that particular magazine about you. You know, all these different things. There's just all kinds of stuff because you can't sell anything. You can't um, do anything unless you are unless you're the people who you want to talk to and you want to help know who you are. And you can't do that trying to be some authority because that's kind of silly. That's just silly to me. Sorry.
Uh, All right, Elle. I've held you here for about an hour. I know you got
Yeah.
other stuff you need to do, but I want to ask you, you got an event coming up tomorrow at 11 a.m. is the networking, 12 p.m. is the actual event. What do you want us to know about the event that's going on tomorrow? That's number two of out of six.
Okay, so I've been talking to a sponsor and they're like, well, maybe they'll pay for letting people come tomorrow for free. I don't know. I didn't talk to Erica about it yet, but we'll see. But that's a possibility. But tomorrow we're gonna talk about the elemental nature, right, of healing, and that's just something that nobody is putting connecting the dots with. There are so many. So think about it like this: we have been focused so much on this layer of healing. You know, like you get broken, so you gotta go to the doctor, and then the doctor says, okay, we gotta get an MRI, we gotta look at all this stuff, and you get an X-ray, and they're like, okay, so this is the damage that's been done. So if you have like damaged tissue, broken tissue, you can have sometimes you can have a surgery, right? Like if you can get a Tommy John if you tore your ACL or your elbow, whatever. So your ACLs and your knees. Everybody don't know that. So you know, so you busted it, right? That has to be fixed. Now that's the soft tissue. Now then you have bone problems, right? So bones be reset, all that kind of stuff. You got joint problems, you get a replacement. All right, so that's where we are. We're here. Now, then the next layer is once you have gotten to a place where you need to start using that joint or using that damaged tissue again, then you need therapy because therapy is going to help you regain the ability to stretch it, move it, use it, blah, blah. Okay, so sometimes that is enough. Now that chunk is big, it's a lot of work and it's hard, but you can get through it and you can do it. But there's a like a section, like it can be real big and real wide, right? And this section is where you've gotten, you know, they did the surgery, but then you fell. They can't give you another surgery, but it hurts, right? Or you tried to, you tried to lift weights too soon, or like our second speaker ended up damaging collateral tissue, right? Because it was injured after the surgery. I mean, injured after um, the the boot, right? So now you got all this stuff going on, and where do you go, right? Where do you go? Who's going to help you? Right now we don't know, right? You know, just like you just got to sit home and use the rice method. You got to rest it, ice it, compress it, elevate it. And then we talked about that. It's been debunked, but anyway, that's what we doing these days. So that's it. So we're going to talk about that later in the series, by the way. But the point is that you just lost. You like in the land of the lost, just hanging out, don't know what to do. But you always suffering. You're always in pain. You can't walk your kids. You can't walk the dog. You can't go up and down the steps. You can't even go to the amusement park with your kids. Why? Because you're in pain. So what do you do? So what? That's why the series is important, so that you get to understand that there are things that you actually can do in this nebulous space. Is it microcurrent? Maybe. Is it chiropractic care? Maybe. But what if it's acupuncture? Or what if it's acupressure? Did you know there were two different things? Do you know that Chinese medicine, right? Did you know that there's Chinese medicine? Do you know that they have a lot of things that they can do to help you? Do you know that there's like different yoga poses? Like what I found out, which I mean, thank God I haven't needed it yet, but I didn't know that because on Roku I have a channel called the Pilates channel, and one of my um, um, contributors teaches advanced yoga practices. And what she was talking about was pelvic floor. And you could do exercises that using Pilates that improve your pelvic floor. Now, if you are a lady and you've had a baby, multiple babies, you know that the pelvic floor can be a challenge, especially as you get older with leaking and stuff. So that blew my mind. And that was another one of the things that propelled me to keep going, keep going, keep going. Because if this thing can fix something unrelated to how you look, right? You think Pilates and yoga is for looking good. Well, it's more than that, right? So then there's all these other things. There's shamanism. There's quantum healing, stuff that we for the longest time, all the way up to maybe 7, 8 years ago, things like yoga, things like chiropractic care, which is standard now, but it wasn't then, and massage for breaking up scar tissue, was not standard. Now it is. Well, who knew? Because everybody was saying all that was quackery, right? Well, that's how all these other things are as well. So there's stuff out there that's crap. Okay, I'm telling you it is. But there's things that are actually helping people, and that's what the whole summit is about. You need to know when you're in this nebulous space, which is a lot of people. More than 8.5 million people have surgery worldwide every year. What percentage of those people, anywhere from 75 to 40% of those people are having some kind of post traumatic scenario that they can't overcome. So that's why we're doing this summit. You need to be there tomorrow. That's what you need to know.
Yep. If you didn't know all the stuff that Elle's talking about, yes, it's all over the internet, but you can get it in a curated setting with Elle tomorrow, starting at 12, the actual event. You doing networking at 11?
I don't know, Erica. This
All right then.
I think that's what it said on the ticket.
Yeah, networking at 11 and the actual event's at 12. Well, Elle, is there anywhere on social they can find you or reach out to you? I did put the link to the event in the announcement.
Okay, cool. So, you guys, you want to come to the summit, check out that link. If you want to find me personally on social media, on LinkedIn, you can find me under Elle Kersey. You can find I'm on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter under Lux Maverick. Um, I'm gonna say the fastest way to get a response from me is if you go to luxmaverick.com, because I am not on social as much as I, especially right now. Like there's just no way, based on kind of what everything is happening. So because right now I'm doing this interview, then I have an appointment that I have to be at by noon, and then we have another event this evening. So will I get to look at any social? I have no idea. So if you are serious and you really want to talk about what I can do to help you, then the most efficient way to reach out to me is to go to the website and just fill out the form. It's not complicated or anything like that. It just gives me an opportunity to schedule a time when I can focus on talking just directly to you.
All right.